Now, welcome to another Let's Talk Some Acolyte, where this time it is the 7th episode of Season 1 that we will be discussing, also known as Choice. And let's kick it off with your thoughts on the episode.
Kick it off or just do the whole thing?
Just take us home.
Okay. My first big question, huge question that I have after watching that episode.
What's the point?
How did May survive the fall?
She respawned at the tree.
Oh,
The tree is the virgins in the Force. The Bunta tree?
The Bunta tree?
It's the virgins.
Makes sense. It's
Yeah.
the only thing that doesn't look natural to the planet. It's the thing that calls to the twins. I get it. Every time you disappear, you go to the Bunta tree.
But no, I'm pretty sure she fell to her death and came back to life, which opens up a whole new box of fun possibilities in Star Wars.
There's also the possibility of Coral saving her, right? I mean, Coral misted.
Missed it. Sounds like a...
She did her smoky vapors Morbius thing.
Yeah. I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, she did her smoky vapors with some other witches that were archery
The
witches.
archers vapored too, yeah.
They all vapored, and we know that Mama Anasea there was going to vapor, and one of the kids was going to vapor. I don't really know what
she
that was.
She was vaporing May, who Soul thought was Osha.
Yeah.
That's because he screamed out, Osha! And then she started to get vaporized, and that's when Soul reacted.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done that for May. He would have let May get evaporated.
Like, I have so many questions. Where did the surviving witches go? Like, where did they go? Wouldn't they have wanted to regroup with May and Coral now lead the Coven to do witchy things?
You would think so. But maybe they did die, actually?
I don't know.
With all the others?
It's weird. May seemingly fell to her death, and the next time we see her, she's got like a Sith Lord Master, and she's like, I'm totally going to kill you guys.
Yeah, we see her standing at the tree at the end of episode 3, but yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird, yeah.
I have so many questions that I don't understand.
Nobody does. I don't think Headland understands either. She just puts things in there.
She goes, hey guys, Rashomon. Like, that's the answer to why we don't have ansers.
But it's not even Rashomon, because it's just like filled in the
different
blanks
points
from
of
episode
view,
3.
But they don't conflict.
No, that was the... I mean, there's problems with the episode, but one of my big ones is when we're watching it, I'm like, this isn't like giving me a different perspective in terms of like...
unreliable narrator. No,
you just filled in
these
the
are
blanks.
facts because they align perfectly.
Yeah.
We saw that the fire was started in both of them. We saw that May started the fire in both of them.
Yeah.
The difference is, somehow from May's point of view, we know that she didn't want to actually burn the whole place down, that it got out of control.
Yeah, well, the fire didn't burn the whole place down. It, like, the fire...
started an electrical fire somehow?
Yeah.
Electrical fires are no joke, though, by the way. They really can. I mean, if the fire gets into the walls through the electricity, it can spread rapidly.
I guess? I don't know. I'm not an electrician.
Either is
But if you are,
comment.
No.
Well, and keep in mind that weird lamp she had some sort of a flammable liquid in it. So if it traveled from this wire to possibly the next one that had one of those weird lanterns on it, it could now like explode and drop fiery liquid on the ground. I don't know.
Old school.
I don't know.
But no, I saw the liquid on the ground. I had no problem with that, really.
No, I assumed it came out of the lamp.
Yeah. Because it wasn't that burnt the whole place down and caused the explosion.
No.
It was the electrical fire.
Ooh, let's move into the next section I wrote down. I call it Sins of the Jedi. Why did they all separate? So it's just kind of a look at the knowledge that we have gained.
What we gained. I would love to know what we've gained from the show.
His sin of the Jedi. What makes the Jedi bad and stuff. He was upset because he had to make a choice of which child to save. Possibly he blames himself also for the fall of the Coven. He got attached to Osha too quickly. Are his motives with that too strong? Like, he instantly was like, I saw this girl in the woods, and she was my Padawan. I could feel it.
Yep.
It's almost like what happened with Qui-Gon, though.
It took Qui-Gon a while. Qui-Gon initially was like, hey, kid, that's great. And you run along. Oh, you're going to let us stay at your place. All right. Oh, you can see things before they happen.
I think once he got an inkling that he was forced, just like, as soon as Soul saw it, he's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Using the Force. Is this just like maybe a side effect of being a virgin? I don't know. Is it?
I think it's more... I think if they would have explained it where emphasized more like, I feel this in the Force, that this has all led me here to this moment with her, that this is the will of the Force, which is kind of how Qui-Gon felt about it.
Yeah.
Instead, he's just like, dude, I think she's supposed to be my Padawan.
So the reason Soul's a sad sack is because he is upset about he had to make a choice and that he lied to Osha about it.
I mean, sure, but did you really feel like that was what was weighing down on his mind? Didn't you kind of think that was already obvious that he had to make that choice?
If you trained up a Padawan under the belief that your sister not only started the fire
that
killed the entire Coven.
Yeah.
Remember, they said that the fire killed the entire Coven, which is not exactly true.
It is kind of true.
They were dead before any sort of explosion happened. And that she started the fire that killed your entire family, and the fact that you made the choice of which one of them gets to live.
Well, it's an obvious choice, though. The one who wants to be a Jedi over the one who is a dark side witch. Right, but how do you
tell that to the, I don't know.
You don't.
I get back to that later. And now let's get to Torbin, who isolated himself because the witches were able to take over his mind that one time.
I want to go home.
I want to go home. I kind of feel for that actor, because he also played Tommen from Game of Thrones, who also killed himself. But it's kind of seemed weird with me that he's so racked with guilt that he killed himself and apologized to May. When it was like he got taken over, but he didn't hurt anybody.
Why did he say to May, like, I've been waiting for you, or something stupid? Like, what the... How would he even think she was alive?
I mean, does he blame himself entirely? Because if I hadn't rushed in there desperate to get back to Coruscant, maybe the witches survive?
Maybe.
But honestly, we don't know about that, because the fire still would have started. We don't know if they would have been able to get it fully under control.
Maybe if Mother Anastasia doesn't mess with his head, he doesn't act so rashly.
I mean, but at the same time, the witches were about to have a coup anyway. Because Coral was refusing to let Osha leave with Mama Anastasia.
Yeah.
She told her sister, don't let her leave.
Yeah, she was the one who kind of provoked May.
If they didn't go there, they might have lost both children. They have no idea how things were going to play out had they not gone there that night. Because, yes, they can go, oh, the fire, and the witch is dying. It was our fault. Well, this perspective that we just saw says otherwise. Which is also kind of funny, because we saw it from this perspective, but... If we're seeing this from Soul's perspective, he wouldn't have known what we saw.
Well, that's the problem with it. It's not from his perspective. We actually get multiple perspectives.
We're getting kind of like his and May's and Coral. It's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense in that respect,
Yeah, because they were already having like a coup that night. She's like...
Yeah.
Because the witches were all like, we don't want the Jedi to take one of the kids. Are you the leader of the...
I choose Mother.
I choose Mother. Which I actually thought that was a nice moment.
Hey, I did too.
I thought that was a very nice moment.
That was one of the few positive things I had to say in my review.
That she chose to be the mother.
Yeah.
To take care of those kids.
I can understand that.
To do what was best for them. So I appreciated that moment. If Torbin's reaction with guilt because he believes he's the reason the witches died, well, that's not true at all, because they were about to have an in-witch war.
In-witch war. But he wouldn't have known that.
Exactly. He wouldn't have
But he was still brainwashed. He was... I mean, maybe that had part of the reason... Was part of the reason why he offed himself? I don't know. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
And Dara,
that he waited 10 years to do it too.
Yeah. And in Dara, on the other hand, she was like the goat. She seemed pretty level-headed throughout like the entire thing. Always going, let's do this the right way. Let's not make things worse. Let me just go in alone. Let's not show force. Let's be...
She seemed very by the book. Not in a bad way. My problem was like, they didn't... The problem with the whole show is they never like go into anything. It's like, this is how I feel and that's it. We just don't explore it.
It's like the only guilt she really bears is that she couldn't control Torbin better, or that she didn't teach him well enough that he could resist.
Well, she tried to teach him. She thought she was doing a good job, and that's what actually cost them everything.
Well, and the fact that she lied to the council, too.
Well, no, but I mean, she was like, oh, I know it. That's why you don't have a Padawan, Soul. And then my Padawan ends up screwing everything up.
Dang it.
Whoops.
Pada problems, right?
But no, my issue is that Soul never tries to articulate why he feels so strongly about saving Osha, other than the fact that, you should try to save kids from a dark side cult. They don't really go into, like, I feel so
she's in danger.
Yeah, it's always just, like, so vague, and it's like, oh, okay, but, like, why do you feel so strong? Is this, like, is it literally the Force, like, telling you are supposed to do this? This is why you're here?
Well, it was so confusing because May's like, yeah, and they say that sometimes sacrifice is necessary. Like, does that mean they're sacrificing the kids, the other witches, or something? Is this a suicide cult?
I think that feels like that's in there only to confuse you, only to make you think, oh, is there something more to the witches killing themselves? When it really just is a stupid story.
No, it's only in there because it has to drive Soul to act more irrationally.
Well, yeah, that too.
And then I had another question. Is it, like, really was it in their best interest to lie to Osha? Was it ever in their best wishes to lie to her?
I think you tell her the truth gently.
Well, she is young, but she's not exactly a child. Soul commented they were not trained or treated like kids. So why not give Osha the truth?
I don't know.
Why not tell Osha that what happened?
I mean, you could certainly skew it in the direction of the Jedi, right? Because, Mother Anastasia messed with Torbin. That caused Torbin to go there.
Well, she was there when Mother Anastasia messed with Torbin, yeah.
Mother Anastasia was then going to do something to May, and so I, as Soul, reacted. I didn't want to kill her. We wanted to come there and just to get you and to be on our way. And had Mother Anastasia opened with, hey, you want to take Osha? Well, fine, but here's the deal. May stays and you don't ask any questions.
Like, they do this weird duality where they treat Osha like a child but then claim she's not a child.
Yeah, they're really... I don't know if it's intentional trying to make this point about children making choices, like big life-altering choices.
Well, and why would he even wait 16 years to be like, oh yeah, his sister, she's alive. Maybe I should tell you the truth about what happened that night. Nah, I'll just keep putting it off.
He probably figured he never would have to if when Osha left.
Well, and they still never got into why the witches were exiled. Like, what did they do? I mean, they're like,
you don't want.
They're witches. They're a force cult.
You want too many details.
Like Night Sisters? No, they're not Night Sisters. Night Sisters don't train kids.
How dare you want a complete story?
I do. I want to know why the witches were exiled. What is it that prompted the Jedi to act that way in the first place?
But the Jedi were willing to leave them alone.
They were going to follow the Council's will and leave them be until they saw that they were like a virgins in the Force. Overall, I didn't hate this episode. It was entertaining, which is what I want out of TV a lot of times. I know I made a lot of gripes and stuff, but I definitely didn't hate the episode.
I hate the fact that it didn't accomplish anything. I think in and of itself, you could make an argument that it is entertaining, that it would have been a decent way to start the show.
Yeah, I think the episode order was a little misplaced. I can definitely get on board with that.
Because you built up this mystery for 6 episodes, and then the reveal is basically what we already knew with a little bit of extra detail spread in that didn't surprise us at all.
I mean, if they would have shown this and the other flashback, paired them together, just made one continuous, here's the entire past, and done that first, I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, and then you build the story off of that, instead of building up to this being the story. Because it doesn't make sense.
No. It's trying to set itself up as a puzzle box just to be a puzzle box.
Exactly. And then when you put the puzzle together, you're like, oh, it makes the picture I thought it was going to make. Nothing surprising happened in this episode at all.
Not really. Nothing
that you couldn't have guessed at.
And I was definitely hoping to see a cooler display from the witches, other than, look, we shoot arrows and smoky vapors.
I think they did all right. I think the vapor thing was...
It was cool, but I think they should have done more. All we've seen them do is force push and...
Still got the lightsaber in there.
Yeah, but all we got to see them do was force push and smoky vapors. I wanted to see some,
they mind-controlled Torbin, and they mind-controlled Kalaka.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they all died. Do you think they all died? I mean,
and then Jedi Master Andara broke the mind control and killed,
Do you think that was her intent?
People.
Do you think she knew she was going to kill them all?
I don't think she knew she was going to kill them all, but dang. What are they teaching the Jedi Temple?
Well, what happened?
Nobody knows. Did she Unreliable narrator, Rashomon. It's fine.
Yeah. It's going to be answered in the next episode, right?
No. The next episode, they're totally going back to Brendok, where the sisters and Master Soul will reunite, and probably Kamar too, because we got to stare at him a little more.
He has nothing to do with any of this.
No,
that's the funny
he's
part.
Not really got a part in the story.
He is completely irrelevant to this
story.
The
only part he had in the story was to tell Osha to go kill Jedi without a weapon. But that doesn't need to be a part of the story.
How stupid is this? Okay, so the reason why May... This episode clearly establishes the reason why May wants to kill the Jedi is because she saw Soul stab Mother Anastasia, right?
Yep. He killed Mother.
Yes, but the reason why May has a change of heart is because Osha is alive in episode 5. Mm-hmm. That changes everything. It changes nothing. The reason why you would want vengeance is because you saw the Jedi kill your mother. It doesn't really have anything to do with Osha, does it?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she just thought, you know what, forget the Jedi, forget all this. As long as I can be with my sister, that's all that matters.
Well, that's all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this week's episode, and tell us how you think this finishes next week. Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time.
Thanks for watching.